And at this juncture, I'd just like to take this moment to welcome our CEO to give you guys a talk concerning something that is quite interesting. So, Madam CEO, karibu.
Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Today is a good day. Seems you are going to be interacting much more as time goes by, just like what I promised you. But at this time, I'm not here rather wearing on a shoe of a CEO, but that of a psychologist. So allow me to introduce myself as a psychologist to you. My name is Trizah 𝐀𝐧𝐲. I'm a clinical psychologist, and currently I'm taking doctorate in clinical psychology, and I'm an all-round when it comes to mental health because my master's is in counseling psychology. So at this point, I will still continue where my colleagues have left it, and I would like to talk about something very, very important. Something close home to me as a person, and maybe you never know how close it is to you. So I would like to talk about addiction. Is addiction a choice? How many will agree with me? Is it a choice? Is it a choice? Yes, no? Okay, is it a choice? Is it a choice for me? It used to be yes, until I learned it's not a choice. Addiction is a disease. So I'd like to start from that point, and allow me to give this analogy. If today you don't take sugar, maybe you've taken sugar at some point in your life. How many take sugar today? If you don't take sugar, how many have ever taken sugar at some point in their lives? Everyone, right? Do we all have diabetes?
No.
Do we all have diabetes?
No.
What do you mean? Diabetes is not a choice because of taking sugar? Because of the cakes, because of white ugali, white rice? It's not? Come on, let's engage. Is diabetes a choice?
No.
It's a disease, right? Now, do you agree with me that addiction is a disease?
Yes.
Not everyone who takes alcohol or substance is an addict. That's a point I would like to make clear. Not everyone who takes, I'm starting with alcohol because it's the most known, and when we look at our country, Kenya, we only refer to two legalized substances, that is alcohol and cigarettes. But because we all know, one thing about mental health is the fact that we like just hiding, and assuming and sugarcoating and masking. We all know all these other drugs they're being taken, right? So I'm here to let you know not everyone who is a partaker of substance is an addict. That does not legalize the intake of illegal substance. So let no one, because we are live on YouTube, we do not know who is watching and who might watch us later in future. YouTube has longevity. Now say, yes, because I'm not an addict and I take substance, illegal substance, so I'm okay. No, we are not here to normalize what is not okay, but at least we are here to let you know. So having said that, now, when do we draw the line of just taking and now being sick? When does it stop from being for fun, for socialization, into this is an illness? So we have stages of addiction. The first one is pre-contact. So if you've never tasted, and I would like as we are talking about addiction, we start by saying we have different types of addiction: alcohol, substance use, and by substance and drug use, I'm referring to the illegal substance, from the 𝗕cie, cocaine, heroin. There's so many nowadays that we do not even want to start calling them by names, because we are also very cautious in what we do. We might be educating someone to go out there and start Googling, oh, there is a new one. I was privileged enough to visit America for American Psychological Association conference this year. I was there for 6 good weeks. One thing I noticed was in the state of Washington, there is something they take. Before then, there is something here in Mombasa they used to take. And what were they doing? They were sleeping while standing. Did you hear that? And they would sleep and snore, and funny enough, they're not falling down. So when I visited, I saw something different. First, we know that's a different culture and everything, but there is some drugs there that they take and they all start walking like this. I don't know if anyone has been there, or maybe you've had. And I kept on asking, why are all these people, walking like this? And the information I was given is, after the intake and they're high, they feel like everything is falling on them. And that's why, and they walk like, I can't bed the mat, they're bedding like this. And now, it's even becoming something we call somatic. Somatic is where you start with a psychological disorder or a mental or a psychiatric disorder, and it ends up being a physical illness. Now they are having issues with their back because of the much intake and such. So those are just a few things we know. Of course, we know about staggering. Those who are maybe my age, and I can see most are, and maybe grew up in the village, we all know those people. If they were not our daddies, our uncles, maybe a neighbor, who would start shouting from far and start counting his goats and cows, right? And you'd also be counted as the kids. And I had those people who would run under the bed, those things. So, all those, they are actually face value of addiction. But, of intake. But at what point did we say, now we've stopped calling it intake, we are into addiction? So we have, gambling is one of the emerging addiction. So, parents and guardians, you need to know. Betting, I do not want to ask if you're betting, and which betting company, and if umewekelea, but get to know, that's still another form of, and let me tell you, that's so bad. It's very, very bad than even the substance. Ask our psychologists, ask psychiatrists, tukuna Dr. Morris here, they will tell you, at least for substance, we know about the chemical and everything and the detox. Now this one for gambling, you will need 6 months in a rehab, because we need to do behavioral change and a lot much more cognitively. You get it? Of course, we have also sexual addiction. So as much as one thing about mental health, rather psychology world, is we use everything as a support system. So when you come and you tell us someone is possessed because they have so many people and they're not getting satisfied sexually, we can still acknowledge as a value, if maybe you are coming from a point you believe in, people being possessed, people being bewitched, but we will tell you it's okay now because that's a culture and we also embrace all the culture, but can we use the conventional way? And we will diagnose this person and you realize we have something we call sexual disorders, right? We also have eating disorders. Not all of us who are in our weight that we are not comfortable with, it's because actually we don't eat healthy and all that. There is eating disorder, and actually this is one that many people do not get to know. When you say I'm a stress eater, when I'm stressed, I just want to eat. Get to know you're already steps ahead. You getting my point? When you are eating to cope with something, When I'm stressed is when I eat. And most of the time, you need to take something like fries and all, yeah? So we have many forms of addiction, and as I have said, gambling is the most emerging one, because for the longest it has never been thought. But for purpose of this discussion, I would like now we zero this to maybe alcohol, something that we can all relate, but one thing, they all go the same, yeah? So if you know someone who is abusing illegal substance or cigarette or anything else, and by abusing I mean when you're taking illegal, when you are taking something that is legal, really it's not an abuse by law, but get to know your steps into the illness. So the first one is pre-contact, which means if you've never taken, we are all candidates of addiction, right? The next one, now we go to the initial stage. Most of the time, and this is the most surprising thing, you remember that, the question of anonymous that we kept on asking? So in whatever our psychologists have been discussing today, we are actually discussing this based on the anonymous information. So we also got to know even some of our young men that we are presenting today, their initial stage, they already passed the initial stage. Am I telling you this to go and tell them when you go back home? No, it's to create awareness, because many other times we will have kids sent from school to come for therapy, and the parent will come with, I know my son, I know my daughter, I am the one who gave birth to them. I know this school, they have something, and I knew. But when we listen to your daughter, we listen to your son, then we listen to you, we start wondering, am I having the right son or the right parent? And that's why Madam Jessica has talked about emotional connection. Do we just connect with them on face value? I'm the mother, you are the daughter, you are the son, you know? Ours is the relationship of have you done, have you eaten, have you taken a shower, are you done with the homework, are the uniforms ready? I know like now we are heading to Christmas. I want all the uniforms to be well packed. Is that our relationship? Then that's not a parental-child emotional relationship. It's the one that also we heard the leader talking about, becoming now. Yours is just to taking the authority and them taking in the orders. But where you relate and you listen, you get to know they know much more. So the initial stage, most of the time, happen at this time. And initial, it means there need to be someone to introduce them to these things. Can be only one time. They visited granny, they were taking something and they were given to taste. So as they now start with the initial stage, the next one is the experimental. So also experimental can be their first when they say, can I just get to know how it feels like, how it tastes? This can be just for the sake. And for some people, they will taste and say, I will never try this thing again. But for some, you mean, it's not all that bad after all. Parents, how many have a bottle of wine, whiskey, in your fridge? In your houses, in your homes? You know, the other day I asked in your fridge and someone was, at least I'm safe because mine is not in the fridge. It's kept somewhere in the cabinet. So in your homes, how many? Again, you know, we say most of the time you will find what we are sharing, we may not be able to share like openly. And that's the stigma associated with mental health. Because we are all going through something. But when I share, how will other people think about me? You get it? So when you leave it there, and now we have a drink for the big people and for the kids. They also know that's not Ribena juice. And they're also wise. Just go back. It's only that times are different, but go back when you are just their age. Yeah? Again, those from the village where our parents didn't know English or Swahili, we used to say, I'm going to see my boyfriend. And now you translate in Kikuyu or in our mother tongue and you say, I'm going to borrow a book. That's what we used to do, right? Now it's your turn. So they'll always be adding water. If you have whiskey, you've already opened. In fact, the best thing is just go and taste to know whether it's already diluted. You might be over diluting it. Because without knowing, you are not the only person who is enjoying the drink. Are you getting the point? Yeah, and you know most of the time you want, no, it can never happen. Me, I know my kids. Let me tell you, ask the therapist. we also, we are also parents, and we also find ourselves in the same situation. But at least now with the level of awareness, we know what now they are saying. We listen, we don't judge. Because the time will come and we are like, hey, as much as the school they are saying it's the boy who needs therapy, I think the mother needs therapy more. Because these are, and you are together, but again, good thing is you are here because you've chosen at least knowledge and to also be enlightened on matters mental health. So now when we move, we go now to the regular. Regular is each and every Friday, each and every Saturday. And regular also comes with some company. You have your buddies. Because for something to be regular, whether it's gym or something you do, it's lonely, right? You would like to have some people. Can you be going on a hike each and every Friday alone? If that happens alone, then we will tell you there is something. We need to test on social anxiety disorder, or we get to know these symptoms of avoidance and withdrawal, where are they coming from? So at regular, you are still okay, but like today is on a Friday. There is that call you'll see on a Friday, and you definitely know what it means. I see the memes on Friday, right? But one thing, they will be dancing. They are counting, minutes to leave office, to go rush where? Home, and sleep because of the entire week. Is that the case? No, to go now and start enjoying their bottle. So now, it moves from regular to codependency. A good example I use is, you no longer now take from the clubs or when you have the company, but you also take home. The way you go, you are eating and you ask if they can pack for you, right? Nowadays we have all these apps. We have Global. We have them all. You are busy searching, going to 𝐿miles, Quick Mart and all, and comparing prices, because now you are even calling in. Are you seeing how technology also has enabled us? So you just go, you pass by somewhere, you stop and you buy. Nowadays they are being sold in supermarkets, right? They're there. Way before that was a thing of, it was not there. But we need to embrace technology. So codependency is where now you start buying home, carrying home, and it also now graduates over time. You also start carrying anywhere you are going. One thing we are always keen is when we see those water bottles. Do you see them at home? You've bought them, right? Do you have, especially those who are going to college and all? Do you normally taste their water? Or you observe and keep boundaries and say this is for them? And have you ever taken time to do that? We see organizations, and there is this organization, they've always been like, what exactly is happening? Because we have a department, our soldier and everything, it's very clear. But around noon, you really can't tell. There is some noise coming from that end, not like there is excitement, there is something. Just to realize, everyone has a colored bottle, right? Is it water they are carrying? Is it tea? Yeah? Are you seeing how we graduate? Now, here is where now we draw the line. In the graduation, some people might just take it for fun. But the moment the employer starts calling in, it means there is function at work. Because, is it bad to be excited at work? There is something we call 𝐀𝐧𝐲, and I would like you to do your self-assessment. Has anyone ever said you need to cut down your intake? Now, this is a question I'm asking you. When I'm giving a speech, looks like for others, now I'm asking you. Please answer to yourself, but you can also smile. Has anyone ever asked you to cut your intake? Yeah? So, have you ever felt, I need to cut down on this? Other people complaining, even if they're not asking you to cut it down? Have you ever felt that to be able to operate well, lazima utoe lock? Have you ever been there? Have you ever felt the urge? You know the way you feel you really need water? Like even if you are presented with a plate of food, the much you want is, can I first get just a glass of water? So have you felt like that? Just the thought. If you've marked 2 yes from my questions, then you need to know you're already somewhere. When you talk about addiction, don't refer to others. You need to be assessed and you evaluate yourself. Because the moment you start taking it home, where the next time some people to the pocket, have you ever heard about that? You open their cars, they are there. If you've carried it, it's okay. We do not know you, but at least the good thing is that you can gauge yourself. So during this time, you are slowly getting into addiction, because the next level is the addiction stage. Remember before we said when you are occasional drinker or user, regular, you need company, right? This is an occasion, right? And for occasion, it means you can never go to an occasion of one person, right? Now by the time you get to addiction, 2 things. Addiction will first take you away from your family. Now, are we able to relate with some people in our lives? Away from your family means you'll not be attending those events. Maybe there is someone who invited a brother, uncle, or someone, and they will not come. Those family gatherings, no. You know that brother, that sister, our dad, we are thinking about them. It will take you away from the family. It will also take you away from the society. That means now the regular, occasional that you need people, now you no longer need those people. Before it takes you away from this world. What do I mean? In addiction, you get to a level where you are only relating with those who are just like you. Have you ever seen someone who was okay and all of stretch at a distance and you're looking at them and wondering, have you ever also looked at their eyes? There is the face of addiction. You know one thing when we say we are psychologists, the next question is, are you reading our mind? So maybe when I say there is the face of addiction, someone might be thinking, have you seen me? No, I'm not referring to you. I'm just giving it as an example, right? So there is a face of addiction. And it looks different. You can say we have guests, but I'm about to finish. I hope we will not have questions that will need the kids, or maybe they can be shown where we need our kids to be as I finish. Frida, they can be directed as I finish. Okay, so yes, as I finish, I think they're coming to tell me my time is up. So as I finish, those people, before I go to what happened when they are taken away from this world, they will start conning you. They will con. First, they will start borrowing from you. Just to borrow. Help me with 200, but they actually don't borrow much, because now when they're in addiction stage, they become economists. They no longer go and buy anything that is costing more than 500 bob. Because they are just looking at, other than I buy a bottle at 3,000, this 3,000, 𝐏𝐵𝐵𝐰𝐴𝐵𝐵𝐾𝐧𝐲 you know, those cups, those, you know, I mean, that can last them for an entire year. Nowadays, they're even selling, they have something for 20 bob. Is it 20 bob? Or 30 bob? Even some sachets, yeah? Mixed with something. Are you getting? So one thing, if there is the positive side of addiction, is you become an economist. But at the same time, it's only economists. Now you get to know where to buy, not even the cheapest. Because when you talk about it, there is difference between cheapest and taking something that is right. So they first start checking. I can only say they are not supposed to be even in the market. And that's why, even where they take them from, it's in some other places when you are told the person is here, you only look from far and ask, who will go and call him for me? Because even you are ashamed of going to get them from, in a normal club, you'll also get him, you ask for your soda or for your drink. You've said not everyone who drinks is an addict, right? As you're waiting to see if you'll see them, but where they normally go, is it somewhere you can even go? And if you go, you have your gumboots because you do not even know what you'll be jumping into. So you become an economist. At the same time, you become so selfish. So you're not saving to buy anything for you. So the first thing they do is to sell anything they have. If you have someone going through that, and they still have their phone. Not the SIM card. One thing is that they don't use the SIM card. They'll always keep on borrowing phones from other people. Can I use your phone? But the SIM card is still, and they will cram all your numbers. Again, genius. They'll have the numbers and they know of the most important people. The people, when they hear, 𝐏𝐵𝐿𝐼𝐴, they are here. They are saying they are going to, no, it's only a bill of this much. Please help me. They know. They will not have your number if you are like, no, me, I'm not going to be part of this. So they know the numbers to cram. Number two, I doubt if they'll be having a headset, but they'll be having a line. So they'll start selling everything. Even their ID, because their time, they give the ID, can I get it? Then I leave my ID. When I get money, I'll come and I pay you, and you give me back my ID. When you check, I doubt if they have any. Now after that, they'll start borrowing from you. But this borrowing, it will become too much. Before you complain, they know how to con you. A motorbike has just passed. Now I need some money because, in fact, I'm bleeding so much. Even you, will you not help? You want your loved one to die because of too much bleeding. You will help, right? They are very manipulative. They know the con games to use. They'll not just call you for, have not eaten, my sister. Can I just have something? Just food for today. And you think they are going to buy 𝗕cie and 𝗕𝗏. No. Are you getting? So it goes like that. Now the moment you decide, no, this is too much, because from your end you are not knowing that they are conning you, what will they do? They will start stealing from you. We've had scenarios. A loved one visits, you just go to the bedroom or to take shower, they leave with your carpet. Not like they steal, big things. They leave with your carpet, with your makeup, anything, any wall hanging, anything. Because not like they have a market, but they know when they take it to the club, it will be butter traded with something, right? Now by the time you're in this stage, they'll also guilt trip you. You're even the reason why I'm like this. It's you and mom and dad and so. They now turn the blame to be about you. And there you talk about their intake. Kuna yako nimekunywa, Is there anything I've taken from you? Yeah? Kuna pompe yako imepotea, right? And this is my life. I'll do whatever I want to do with it. Those are things. But one thing I will tell you for sure, by the time someone is in this stage, they need help. When we are feeling that we are so bitter about them, that's the time we actually need help. During this time when we are entertaining, we are actually the enablers. These people, chances are very high, they'll not even be having families. Not unless their family is part of their addictive partners. You get the point? Because even hygiene is next to zero. They are eating, they lose weight. If someone was lighter, they start now becoming dull because of even their toxicity in their blood. You're getting the point? There is a lot that happens. No family, but again, what we do is now the relatives, most of the time we play 4 roles as I finish. The first one is maybe the enabler. Let me give him the 200 bob because he's a 𝗕cie, he'll keep on calling me, he'll keep on bothering me. When I give him, I know he will get out of my way. Just get to know you've reduced his days of living maybe with a month, if that's what you do. Or let me just give him, you know, at the end of the day, I don't have another sister, I don't have another mom, I don't have another dad. The much you are doing, you are also helping them reduce their days, because you are not offering the right help. We also now move to the rescuers. You find a mother-in-law is the one paying school fees for the son or for the daughter kid, paying their rent because they are okay. Is it okay you just bear with my son? Just, you know, I don't know what is happening with that name. The person they are named after, they have an issue. So now they become the rescuer. First to ensure the wife will never leave, or the husband. So they are providing, they've now put on the shoe of the other just to mask. Get to know when you are rescuer, you're also not helping the person. Now we have two very interesting people. One is a heroine, or a hero in this case. A hero is the one who will be able to call out what is happening, put very firm boundaries, is very bitter and very angry, because before then they were enablers and all. They've done everything possible to help this person paying for their college fee, and just realize this person is not even graduating because they were not attending classes. So this person just said, I do not want anything to do with you. They detach and detach completely. The truth is, they just sink into dissociation. Dissociation is to dissociate, to deny. They are masking all this. They are also not okay. They are sick, but they are sick because of this person. And our main goal is to allow the hero, the heroine, because at least they are better off than the rescue and the enabler, to be advocates. Advocate is the one who, and most advocates, they come from being heroes and heroines. Just yesterday, I was having a very deep conversation with someone, and she was telling me, you know, when I got the call of my sister, I just knew this is the time, because I'm at a point where I've even prepared everyone in my family that even if you are called to go and collect the body, it's still okay. But this person, immediately whatever happened, and they were told, no, your sister is in this, they were able to reach out to us. So they turned from, you see, when you've given up and you're okay to go and collect the body, you are a heroine, yeah? And a hero where you detach. And by the time someone gets there, by the way, don't be so quick to judge them. How could you be like this? Because we are also very, very judgmental. I'm trying, how can you, Mama Ethan, be like this when you are elder brother or younger sister? I mean, look at you. What are you still doing in Nairobi? And you see, you know, there is that thing, as if you owe someone's life. Let's not be too much to judge. Maybe this person has given it all they could. They had to sacrifice for them. They are in that stage of, I am detaching. However, the advocate is the one who realizes this person needs help. As much as they've taken me through this, they'll still continue taking me through this, because there is things you can do in your life. Can you undo blood? You know, you can divorce. When you are married to a very addicted wife or husband, you can divorce, right? And say, no, enough is enough. But can you divorce your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your kid? Even that husband, the moment, or the wife, the moment you get to know, do you leave them because now they're having diabetes or they're having cold? The moment you get to recognize it as a disease, you will definitely show up for them. Now you become an advocate. Advocate is, you still reserve your being a hero, your boundaries, but you need to offer help. And this time help is, this is the last chance, I'm starting a business for you. No, no, no. The help is you take them to a rehabilitation center. Ladies and gentlemen, now I know I've been saying as I finish. Now as I finish, there is an option. If you don't take them to a rehab, you will take them to the grave. The speaking person, I buried my dad in 2018, and I lost him because of addiction. I didn't know I was still a psychologist because the love is so much. We know those who are drunkard, they stagger, right? Those who are drunkard, you need to know them because they smell. I mean, each and every Christmas, I carried a bottle of whiskey to him. Didn't know was taking his ears away, you know? And I loved him. Maybe because when I was growing up, I remember my uncle, my rich uncle. You know, when you're growing up in the village, anyone in Nairobi is rich, right? So I remember my rich uncle coming with some bottle and sharing with men, and dad was invited. But when he got there, I think he got there late, he didn't find any. That really made him so bitter. And I remember hearing him tell Mom, anytime he comes and calls us to go and drink, I will not go because how could he prioritize other people than his own? And I was like, Dad, don't worry. When I grow up, I'll be that daughter. And I used to. I would go, it used to be the days of 𝗕cie, and just, I would buy the price, not even the make or the type, the most expensive one. Of course, it was only once, but that once, it was still enabling. When it took him 12 days. So when I'm being called, oh, he's coughing and like there is some blood, you know, stain and all that. No, my dad to a rehab. That was zero in my thinking. My dad is unwell and I called all the doctors that I knew. It's okay, take him to this, take him to this. One thing led to the other, one thing led to the other. Until I remember going to Nairobi West, and at this point the doctor now says, the liver is fully damaged. And I'm there thinking, could my dad be having liver cancer? What could this be? No. Prayers will move a mountain. It took me time to trouble with my God. Why didn't you even open this? I buried my dad not knowing. Until, as the firstborn daughter, as the firstborn and the only daughter, I saw the death certificate. You know, cause of death? Liver cirrhosis, alcohol-induced liver cirrhosis. Well, was it really a breaking point for me? Dad, we still kept on telling you, stop this thing. But I thought we were telling him to stop for Mom. You know those calls. Your dad, can you just tell him to reduce? Because we were supposed to go for some dowry somewhere. Now he came in, I don't know at what time at night. Right now he's not able to wake up. Maybe he needed some lock. But we actually never saw it as a disease. So I'm sharing professionally as a psychologist and also as a victim, because we say addiction is also a family disease and a very, very diplomatic disease because it cuts across the haves and have not, the psychologists, the non-psychologists, you know? And so we buried, but I got closure because I remember at some point in hospital, he just said, he was given medication, he was told, just in case you get discharged, ensure you don't take alcohol. And now this time we're asking him, so Dad, you heard what the doctor has said, so will you take? And he told us, no, go and tell 𝐴BL, whatever they normally produce for me, not to ever include it in their production. Little did we know, actually, the man meant so because he never lived to take it again. It took me time to process his loss. It also took me time to openly talk about him dying because of addiction. And not giving details, early this year, I have got a lot of enough reason to thank God for this year 2024. Are you forgetting I told you I've gone to America this year? So I got the visa same year. We've received so many awards as Allsmiles. You can go to our pages, you'll see, especially this December, we've been awarded 2 good awards as top. But again, how I started the year, I didn't think I would get to this level. I remember back then, I would break down in class. And what I used to do was to put on the mask. You know, nowadays, masks, they come to do everything. But again, you are in a doctorate class of all psychologists. They'll still get to know there is something wrong with this person. My class became my support system because as I finished, I had 2 brothers in the rehab at the same time, but different circumstances, different scenarios, different rehabs. I was breaking apart, and I thought, what can a daughter and a sister do at this point? It's to call your other siblings, right? To come when we suffer, right? Or we think about it. Maybe the most ideal could have been, I need to call the dad to come and talk to the sons, but the dad is not there. Can I call my other siblings? No, because we are only 3 of us. So it's me and the 2. Now, I looked at my mom. You know, she was like, now I agree, I am bewitched. But I told her, you need to be happy because had we known about rehabilitation center, we would not have spent much money we spent at 𝗕cie, St. Molumpa's nursing home, Nairobi West Hospital, trying to treat Dad. It only needed him to be in a rehab. I mean, we have so many cases because up to date have kept. Actually, I have it in my head. You know, the results and the liver and all. We've seen so many severe cases. One of my brother was even more severe than my dad and recovered. Day 8 of him being there, he had swollen legs and everything was okay. So what am I talking about? We will talk about addiction because if you're not the victim, addiction is a family disease. If you're not the victim, but you're not the addicted person, and you're not a family of the addicted, you definitely know someone. Am I right? You definitely know someone. But we've kept silence. Maybe 2 things, being a psychologist, I was able to see, but I think the most important thing is, I just said, no one in my life will go through the same path of my dad. I have no regrets because we did all we could. But again, I think I carried the lessons with me. But also the heroine in me also tells me, hey boss, have taken you to the rehab. Now you want to go back there. You also know where we buried your dad. We still have some enough space. So I've also seen people just getting to know, you know, it's a wake-up call, right? But before you get there, give it the trial. I'm not just here to say this because now we run a rehabilitation center. We got help all over. Mathare is a government institution. And I believe you can still get help there. Should it be in a case where you feel you're not able to pay Allsmiles or any private rehabilitation center, how can we go about it? Do not lock them and pray for them. It will be fatal. In fact, anytime we get a call, you know, this person has come, can you lock him before we take, do you know what they take? Continue giving them. Because the moment they're in that stage, just taking without treating, in fact, will fasten the process of their death. So if the reason why you need to take your loved one from that ditch when you're already in that state is because you want them to stop, have another plan. I'm taking you from here to rehabilitation center, and please, I am not a doctor, Dr. Morris is, but I'll tell you, unless you are not so sure, do not take case of addiction to hospital. Take it to a rehab or to a mental hospital. Because when they go to hospital, the first thing, liver, this is happening, I don't know which enzyme. So drugs on drugs. This person, one thing I say is my dad was denied a chance of detox. They started treating the liver, all this hospital they are treating. So they are also overloading the already overloaded liver. I mean, it had no chance of surviving because it's loads and loads of medication. And we are not correcting what doctors do because equally they are treating from their level of knowledge, and we respect them because imagine having a boot camp without Dr. Morris. I think we will all be coming and we train them, but we are sorry, I think, because they have the training, you take them now to hospital, you know. So what we mean is no health without mental health. Address mental health issues in the mental health, using the mental health interventions. If taking him to all the hospital didn't make him survive a liver that was not worse than what I've seen, then a rehab could have been there only way out. You get my point? So what I mean is, get them when you have a plan for them. If you don't have a plan for them when you get them, before you think, ask them, what do you take? Facilitate, go by. Whether it's illegal or not illegal. I'm not here to tell you how to kill them first by locking them in the house. Or ask them, where do you normally get it? Let them go get, because just keeping them, some people will be told they can't even survive for 12 hours without what they take or treatment. So it's gonna be very fatal, because we've seen people dying just because they were locked in a police station. You know, when they're in that state, they do not only steal from you, they also steal from other people, right? So when they are caught even trying to take a side mirror and all, they are taken where? To police station. On a Friday, waiting for Monday. Do you think someone who is deep in addiction, they will wait until that time? Now it will be stories. Oh, you know, they were locked, it's like they poisoned, they did what? Of course, there will be toxicity in the blood, so chances are very high. Maybe they were poisoned, but it's because they were denied what they used and they were never treated. Addiction is a disease. Those people, they don't even deserve to be jailed. I am again not saying whatever is criminal should just be allowed go because of addiction. But what I mean is they need help, just like what we are saying in Kenya today. Trying to die by suicide should not be criminalized, because suicide is a sign of it's not a disorder, but it's a sign of a severe mental health issue. How comes we've all I went through issues. Do you think there is at any point I thought of dying? Who? Me? No, that one, it will not happen as long as I have my insight. You get the point? So this other person, they do not want to die because they're done with their life. They are okay paying taxes. And all this is a kind of thing. They are very much okay. But they want to die because they want to bring to an end the issues they are going through. So I hope by you being here today, and also for me having taken much of your time, you will be able to stretch a hand of help into your loved one, and most importantly, you will be able to protect my young men that I'm giving you back today. Ensure no matter what happened, let's not have a path of addiction. I know it's something they've been trained so deeply. We can talk, right? We are here. We will listen. Us, we are trained not to judge. We are very empathetic. We will help them even before they get to that level. Thank you.